So today I'm going to be upscaling this image, which I've just created in Flux AI. And what I'm going to do here is just show you the workflow from Photoshop. You can obviously do this in standalone Gigapixel AI, but I'm just doing it in Photoshop for sort of ease of demonstration. So if you are a Photoshop user, well, you can see that's in the canvas at 100% size. If I just actually show you the image size, we can see the dimensions. So 1216 by 832, so pretty low res. So if you're in Photoshop and you've got the plugin installed for Gigapixel, you just go to the File menu, go to Automate, and you just go down to Topaz Gigapixel AI in the drop-down, and it's going to initiate the Gigapixel interface. Now, I've got this set as a default here, just without anything applied, so I can go through the steps with you and my thought process on this particular image. So at the moment, I've not got it set to any resizing scale, but I'm going to go with 4 times for this, just to give us a nice big image. So the AI model, you got this little checkbox next to it, this little toggle switch, sorry, with a lightning bolt next to it, on that and also on the settings. And that is the software trying to automatically work out what it thinks is best. Now, I almost always ignore these because I don't agree with the results that it tries to give me most of the time. So let's just start with the AI model, which I've got it set to default at standard V2 on this, or it's default standard V2, which is a great model. It's going to take a few moments to update. It's a great model, but it's not the newest generation of upscaling algorithm in this. High fidelity V2 is my new go-to standard upscaling option for what I would call like clean starting images. So images like this, that even though they were technically low resolution, they are very good quality and very clean with no obvious artifacts or anything like that. I'll only go to the other ones like low resolution and very compressed if I've got a lower resolution image that has some kind of visual problems to start with. If the actual image is looking good and there are good details, I will generally go with high fidelity. But obviously for this type of image, it depends on every image, it varies. So I'm going to click that, and I'm happy with that just at a quick glance. Now I'm going to go down to the settings here, and for this image, I don't want to do any denoise because it's not got much grain or anything anyway, and any of the slight natural grain that would have been in the image has actually been removed by the upscaling process anyway, so we definitely don't want to try and remove any more that may be in there because it will just end up softening some of the details. Minor de-blur, this is basically a sharpen, so I'm going to bring this up a little bit because obviously the fur detail could always benefit with a little sharpening, and if you've got like a portrait photo with hair and things like that. Don't want to go too far because it will start to make the edges go crispy and unnatural. It will make the whiskers start to look a little bit too artificial, so I'm going to keep that about 20 on this. And the next one, fixed compression. There's no visual obvious compression artifacts in this. Again, it's an AI image, so there won't be many unless it outputs as a low quality JPEG. So I'm going to leave that at the lower setting, which is 1. Again, if you increase any of these in areas that aren't required, so if you crank up the denoise and the compression when there isn't any obvious noise or compression, what it's going to do, it's just going to soften the image overall and actually make the image look worse. So I start with these settings at 1, and I just increase them dependent on the image, which is why it's so good to just go to treat every image as an individual and not just apply the same blanket settings to every image. But anyway, the advanced settings I'm not going to use on them. So I'm going to click Save to Adobe Photoshop, and it's now going to come back with its renewed size in the canvas. So we've got the upscale version here, and as we can see, if we go into the image size, our new dimensions of nearly 5,000 pixels on the longest edge and over 3,000 high. So that's now a really good size to either crop in on or print or do anything else you want to it. But we've got an excellent quality here at 100%. And just to refresh our memory of what it was like to start with, if I just Command or Control Z to undo that gigapixel transformation and upscale, this is what we started with. So that is at 100% size. It's full resolution, the original image. So as you can see, the difference between the two is pretty staggering. The fact that it's been able to retain all of this detail and actually enhance all of this fur detail and all these fine little details of the burger when it's also upscaled at this size, I think is pretty incredible.